Hello, welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I'm coming to you from sunny Tirana in Albania. I didn't get any kit between the end of last night's epic fight and flying out, so if I seem a little knackered, it's because I am knackered. But of course, I wanted to say a few words about, you know, the incredible fight yesterday between CONOR Benn and Chris EUBANK Jr. Um, And I think the overriding feeling for me is that, it's brilliant to be proven wrong because when the fight was first announced in 2022, I was completely indifferent to it. I thought it was a gimmick fight, a money grab, which to some extent it still is. But let's be honest here, there was nothing gimmicky about what went on in that ring last night. It was a tremendous battle, lacking in technique, because I still think you can make a very strong argument that, neither of these guys is, well, maybe in the case of EUBANK, what would you say EUBANK was, a top 15 middleweight, top 12 middleweight? Lower reaches of the top 10 if you're being very generous, very generous. I mean, it's not much of a division at the moment, middleweight. But CONOR Benn has never beaten anyone even approaching a world-class welterweight. Never mind fighting a middleweight. But pushing all that aside, just as we should push aside all the, the PED history and stuff. We shouldn't push it aside in the sense that we should forget it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just talking entirely about what went on in that ring and the guts and the mental strength and the sheer bloody mindedness of both fighters. I think, it was one for the ages. I mean, I said in my post-fight review, which I made, 5-10 minutes after the fight finished, which I always do with my reviews, that they did their fathers proud. And they did. Technique lacking. This wasn't Bivol versus Peterbiev. This was just a good old-fashioned scrap. And there was nothing gimmicky about that. So, in that sense, was I wrong? Probably, yeah. I did say, and I did think, repeatedly, that this time round, not in 2022, but this time, because, the 157 stipulation for EUBANK in 2022 was bad enough. But now that he's 2.5 years older, the 160, we saw how much he struggled to make 160. And people say, okay, he makes 160, that's his thing, this is how he does it. Doesn't mean it's healthy, doesn't mean it's right. And doesn't mean it isn't dangerous. So I think, all things considered, just what went on in the ring was brilliant. But this time round, 2025, I thought we might have a good fight here. And the closer we got to the fight, I was really thinking, Ben's got far more of a chance than he's ever had. And I was wondering if the whole cancellation of the fight or postponement of the fight, the PED thing, that whole, drama, that farce, that soap opera that we all had to sit through, that Ben went through, maybe that's worked to his advantage. Maybe he's catching EUBANK at the right time. My prediction was EUBANK on points. I didn't make that prediction with any great confidence, if you look at my preview video. But I did think, as we got close to it, especially the last couple of days where EUBANK, failed to make weight and all that sort of stuff, I did think, well, I wonder if the planets are aligned for CONOR Benn. And if I'm being honest, in the third round, EUBANK was shaken by Ben. Ben just charged out totally. It was like Charge of the Light Brigade, wasn't it? throwing all sorts of winging punches, not even really thinking about anything other than I'm going to take your damn head off. And in that third round, he did sting EUBANK a little bit, just through sheer force of energy, almost like a force of nature, wasn't it? Well, all of that, to be honest with you, made for a great fight. And it does show how circumstances can change over a period of time. Um, a much shorter period of time, for example. Just to pull an example out of my head, it's not a perfect example because, like I say, it was a shorter time, was George Foreman against Muhammad Ali when Foreman was cut and the fight was postponed. And they wouldn't let George go back to America. Mobutu in Zaire said, no, you can't go anywhere, mate. And Ali embraced the extra time by doing what Ali did, whereas Foreman kind of brooded and had to wait for the cut to heal and so on and so forth, and it all became very, very much a sort of struggle for him mentally. And I always wondered what would have happened had that fight gone ahead on its original date. I'm really glad that the Conor Benn Chris EUBANK Jr. fight didn't go ahead in 2022 with the benefit of hindsight. I didn't care when it was cancelled. I thought the whole thing was just a money grab anyway. But EUBANK at 157, even though it was 2.5 years ago. But then Ben has had a chance to settle into a higher weight as well. I thought it was fantastic seeing it. There was a nostalgic element to it because if you're my age, you will remember Ben, the original Ben and EUBANK. Seeing their fathers walk their sons to the ring, embracing the middle of the ring before the fight, hearing the, Simply the Best being played and Ben's ring walk music, Dangerous. That brought back some big memories. It really was a trip down memory lane. And, of course, the purpose of promoters is to promote, which it seems to have been a dying lost art in the age of social media. But they promoted this really well. And it's great that EUBANK Senior and Junior, EUBANK Senior and Junior are reconciled. Some people have said, well, maybe they bunged EUBANK Senior a few quid, get him to turn up, and I don't know. I'm trying not to be. I'm not going to be cynical about it. But having said that, of course, nothing's impossible, is it? I don't know. I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but it does seem that certainly post-fight, EUBANK Jr. was saying he was so, he was very happy to have his father there. It was great. It was a magnificent spectacle. And someone in my comment section of my video said something along the lines of, "We do boxing great in Britain. We really get it right, and we do, which is why the fans are, loyal. I think they'll support the sport through thick and thin." So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I say that as someone who had no interest at all in the fight originally. I'm a show me sort of person. You want to talk, you can talk all you like, you can talk till your head falls off, I don't really care, but go out there and show me. If you're saying something, go out there and do it. This doesn't apply to boxing, it applies to anything. And it applies to myself. I think, okay, I've got an idea, now I need to go out and do it. Because as the old cliche goes, talk is cheap. Well, I guess you could say there was plenty of talking done in that ring last night, and it was with their fists. And they both spoke very, very eloquently. Rough and ready, quite a lot of slang, not a lot of, fistic 17 points on the Scrabble board words being used. It was all a bit of a scrap, a bit of a tear-up. Not really a debate, was it? But both those guys deserve a ton of credit. And this doesn't in any shape or form alter my opinion on the whole PED thing or you know, the controversy with EUBANK still trying to make 160. It doesn't. I'm basing these opinions purely on what I saw in the ring, because the ring is the great truth teller. You cannot lie in that ring, and neither of those guys was doing any lying. They really were the real thing, the truth. So if you've got any further thoughts, please leave them below. And yeah, not a bad fight, was it? Tell me what you think. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you very, very much, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.